Welcome back to the Off the Tools podcast with your host, Jimmy Hong and Joshua Grudenborg. Today, we're going to be jumping into a little bit about the difference between working and working on the business. Something that, Jimmy and I talk to contractors every day, and it seems like this is a foreign concept in a lot of regards. And to be fair, it can be a little bit difficult to grasp, especially if you've never even heard of it. So, Jimmy, I'm going to open up the floor to you, man. On the business, in the business, overarching concepts. What do you think?
Yeah, I think when it comes to like working business or working on the business, I think it comes down to how much your time's worth for that specific like task. For example, like, is it better for you to do more estimates or meeting with clients to book more jobs? Do you make more money off that? Or, you just out there painting yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So things like that. I think that's probably the best example. Doing the higher value tasks and then delegating the minor ones to your workers or putting people in place so that you can make sure that you're doing the thing that's going to pay you the most if you averaged everything out in terms of like hourly, for example.
How does someone even begin to approach figuring out and like calculating what my highest return tasks are in a business?
Yeah, I think it's super simple. Like if you go through, let's say you're doing, I don't know, let's call it like a $10,000 job. And if you're the one painting it, you can take the amount of money it's going to cost you to do the job, or I guess the revenue, and then divide it by how long you're actually painting to make that amount. So if you're profiting, let's say 50%, $5K, but it's going to take you like 2 weeks, then you can actually just figure out how much that's going to be for your hourly specifically. And then if you do something like an estimate, well, if you book a $10,000 job and it took you like maybe 2 hours, and then you have people in place to actually do the jobs, you're not the one actually there anymore. So I think it's just more condensed. I would say just being able to do the math like that, keep it super simple.
There's definitely levels to it. And
oh, yeah.
At the start, you can break it down into two kind of areas. You can do revenue generating activities and then revenue fulfilling activities. So your revenue fulfilling activities will be your painting, will be your drywalling, will be your window installation, whatever it is. And then revenue generating activities will be your estimates, your door knocking, your follow up with clients, everything like that. Now, here's the thing. Once you get to that next level, though, even those quote unquote revenue generating activities is still working in the business. Now, you can only relinquish so much control so quickly in your business without it falling apart on you because you fall to the level of your systems, not to the level of your goals. However, probably a great first place to start is just that production. And that's going to get you out of that first step of working in the business, I'd say.
100%. Like, I guess like when you think of like a mindset shift for contractors, what do you think that switch should be, like going from like a worker to more of an owner?
It's so tough. And I really feel for the people that have been a worker in their own business for 15 years, 20 years. Cause wow, like that's some psychedelics that are necessary for that one, sincerely, because you really have to flip the whole mentality around. And I get it on their end too, because in the immediate, it actually seems like you're making less money, right? So you're telling me I'm going to pay somebody else to do the labor that I could get paid to do plus all the profit on the job? That's so silly. Why would I ever do that? And it's like, you know what? When you listen to it like that, that does make sense, doesn't it? But it's like, no, that doesn't make sense if your goal is to actually create a business, because what you're really spending is your most valuable commodity, which is your time.
Well said, man. 100%. I think it's just like a bottleneck type of thinking, because you just won't be able to ever scale your business. And I think this might be a tough truth, but the people that say they love just having one worker or like one crew and they just work with it, I think it's such a crutch. And I think it's not true, because unless they've actually done it properly and had crews and they set them up to be autonomous, if they had that, I almost guarantee they would never go back. right? They're kind of stuck in this, if I don't do it, it won't get done right. And that's just not the right way to think about it.
I think it's really interesting. On a lot of our calls, when I meet with contractors, Jimmy, I'll hit them with I've never painted a room in my life. And even the guys that have, I guess, done all of like the painting themselves and know the craft, even they respect it.
Yeah.
Because as much as like they say to themselves, oh, like I'm happy with fulfilling the work, I like doing the painting and I love my helper, even they don't even fully believe it.
So true. Man, I feel a little called out because I started as a painter before becoming the owner of my own business. And yeah, it's like I got stuck sometimes in the beginning where it was like, yeah, I mean, it's nice. You're with the clients, you have more control. It wasn't until like I started bringing on better people, the project managers, painters. Then it was like, oh, wow, like I can train these guys to do great work. And it's still this, you just get to help more people, right? I think it's such a responsibility of yourself to be able to scale. If you're a really good company and you care about the client the most, you'll probably win the most. But if you're stuck, you can't help as many clients, right? When like what helper, how much work can you guys really get done? Oh, but we're fast. It's like, yes, but you're never going to be faster than like 5 crews of people trained properly, doing awesome work for the business. And even worse, we've all heard it. Like having people that like having clients that were like, oh, I got screwed over by some like, painter that just didn't know what they were doing. Usually like if they might be a little cheaper, but they're painting too. And it's like, if only I was a better business owner and was able to add more crews in a scalable way, I could have probably prevented that or at least helped out with it.
It's probably the best way to put that for sure. You are limiting your impact. And I mean, if you're creating a business and you want any sort of sustainable mindset whatsoever, it needs to be some sort of impact mentality, meaning like, okay, like my net profit and services are going to be like to the betterment of humanity. And like, that's why I'm doing this. If you start doing it for the money, again, it's not going to work, and now, so it's like, say you are running the business just for the money. Well, it's even look at the study with the soccer players, right? When as soon as professional soccer players start getting paid for playing soccer, they report a 40% decrease in happiness. So it's like as soon as that money even enters the equation, now like you're impacting your own happiness in your business rather than the impact of what you could be having on the world. And I even tell people this sometimes. It's like, I mean, when you're in the painting industry or you're in the contracting industry, you're in the infrastructure industry, which is like honestly super cool. You're building and repairing the world. My fire alarm's going off. I guess what I was saying was too fire, Jimmy. So good.
Wow, you're just spitting fire. Holy,
Wow.
Even the world believes it.
There you go. Man, look at that. Clip it. There you go. That's hysterical. Oh my God. I should install like a fake fire alarm and we should
Yeah, and just press it every time.
yeah. That's so funny. Where were we? Oh yes. It's noble to be being in the infrastructure line of work, and you're definitely limiting your impact by like being on the tools. And that's why Jimmy and I named this podcast. What a fitting topic for us today here, right? Off the tools, because by being off the tools, you maximize your impact in the world.
It's so true, man. Like I hear it all the time, man. Everyone just lying to themselves or just never getting to that point. And they just say they love being on the tools. And it's like, yeah, like you've been in it like for 20 years. What kind of impact have you really been able to put out there? Or you're just so stuck and nothing's changed. And it's like, well, it's been 10 years and you haven't tried anything else. You're just so stuck, right? Blows my mind.
If you were one of those contractors right now that had your 10 years in the business, you've been doing all the work yourself, what do you think like step one is?
I think just accept. I think step one is accepting that there's just better options to be able to run the business. Because if you're not going to accept it and you fully believe that, hey, you on the tools is just what you want 100%, then so good or bad, it's just trade-offs, right? Like if you want to be on the tools, just different trade-offs, right? If you're on there, maybe you get more control versus when you have 5 crews, maybe you're playing production manager or sales, whatever it is. But I think just figuring out if you're willing to make those trade-offs and willing to learn for it, I think that's number one. It has to be, right? Because some people aren't willing to make that trade-off, or they just don't know where to turn, right? Some people, I've had like 20 guys and it was awful. And it's like, but like, did you try to get help around that? Do you have like a hiring process? Do you have like production processes? Oh, no worries. Did you reach out to anybody to try to get some help around that? No, then it's like, well, then we're kind of just, it writes itself, right? So I'd say accepting, figuring out if you're willing to make those trade-offs for yourself in the business, just being super honest with it. I'd say that would be step one for sure.
What's crazy that this is actually a question I've been meaning to ask you just in general here, Jimmy. When I sit down with a lot of these contractors and like we start talking like revenue goals and stuff like that, or just long-term vision of the company, oftentimes getting off the tools, I would say, is like maybe a goal 20-25% of the time. It's not even part of the like near vision. Why do you think that is?
If I had to guess, and just putting myself in their shoes, obviously having gone through this like 40 years, it must be tough going through this for like, let's say 20 years and then being exposed to like just other ways of doing things or better ways. And it's like, I totally get it. I mean, it could seem like, wow, I just wasted 20 years. It's a hard pill to swallow, right? So it's like, it's tough, right? It's because like, I could totally see it. If I was in that for 20 years and it'd be like, I'd have to accept that I was doing things wrong for 20 years, right? If I wanted the trade-off of scaling a great business and having those processes, like a really good franchise, right? I think that's one. Maybe the fear of knowledge, not knowing how, and just being burned before from trying to scale like crews, but not having systems in place to do it properly. Of course, everything's going to crumble when you're trying to do everything too fast and you don't have a foundation on it, right? No SOPs, no hiring systems, just and people thinking that it's just faster to do it themselves, right? I think that's probably the biggest ones. What about you?
I'm super unsure. Like that's why, because as someone that's never painted a full room in their life, that it's like really hard for me to understand, right? 'Cause, man, so you're telling me you guys are foregoing honestly the easier route. I'm gonna be super frank with you guys here. The reason why I've never painted the room in my full life is because I don't want to.
That's fine.
Like, I don't. Well, so it's like, yeah, I don't want to do manual labor if I can just not. And I feel like for a lot of people, that's most people, but they've come to terms that it's like, it's not that bad. And it isn't that bad. Painting can be an awesome job. It's really gratifying. Before and after of your work is right there. So it's difficult. People are just stuck in their ways though, too. And it's a big jump. And it's your business is a completely different business, realistically, right? So it's like, of course, that's hard. And it's there it is. It's a control thing. That's actually the one that comes up the most. People, because it's like, okay, what do you hear? Oh, I can't find anybody good to work for me. That's the other side of the, right? That's the other side of the coin. So it's like, oh, I can't find anybody good enough to work for me. And if I do get somebody on the job site, they're not going to meet my standards. And it's like, they are prideful in their work. And that's why it's like, what is it? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. It's kind of what it is when you're running that 1-man, 2-man show. Cause it's like, man, I just can't find anybody to do, what I can do. I'm going to just do it all myself and make sure it's a really good job. It's like, okay, there's your cobblestone road to Satan's house right there.
And you do it for 20 years and you're just kind of putting yourself in that mindset of, oh, I'm right. Right? Even one of the things I just disagree with the most. And it's like, you're telling me that, so you started in painting, you learned how to paint really well, tons of great painters out there, but you're also saying that you can't find another person to do the same. You did it, right? You went through it. You painted, you cared, you were the one that painted 40, 50 hours a week, and your cut lines are crisp. How to roll, you know how to flat line, like take care of like a reno, anything like that. But you figured it out, right? Now, if you were the only contractor that could do it, sure, right? In the whole world, sure. But you're not, right? Other people have figured it out. And it just comes back to like, hey, we're not special. Sometimes we like to think so, but it's like, we're not, right? And I went through this. I thought I was the greatest painter. And then realized with that mindset shift of, no, my goal in this isn't to be the best. It's to train other people to be better than I am.
100%. Oh yeah, no, that is the goal. Yeah, you know what's interesting too, and again, it's not always just about painting. It comes back to any trade too. And Jimmy and I, for instance, whether it's this company, our painting companies, whatever, we would actually typically focus on hiring on attitude, not necessarily skill set. Yep. And don't get me wrong, like there's more work on the front end of things because you now have to train people on how to do it. But here's the interesting thing about trades, skills, etc. It's so apparent how good someone's going to be in like the first day or two.
Yeah.
It's so obvious. When you show somebody how to do a cut line 5 times, people that are already good the second time, the people where you're going to be like, why is paint on the ceiling? They're just going to be like that the whole time. And it's like, who knows what sort of equation that comes down to in terms of their spatial awareness or like whatever motor skill grading system you want to boil it down to. But it's like, maybe you just need to give more people chances because now you're clouding your future judgment with your past.
And it's so crazy because like when I think of it, it's very simple, right? Take the time that you're spending in your business. So let's say you're working, the most common I hear is typically like around 70, 80 hours because they're also still painting or they're still doing the renos themselves. It's like, okay, cool. Well, how do you break that down, right? How many hours are you working actually on the tools? 50, cool. You're working 50 so far. And the rest is all admin, estimates, everything else. Cool, got it. Now, if you were to spend a little bit of time and find a really great hire, not the next person you bring on, like that you said, hey, I need to work, but actually like, hey, interviewing and trying them out, having 6 different applicants, 10, like until you find that one person that's like really, really good. Well, if that one person, you bring them on and they start doing well, they're working like 40, 50 hours, that saves you 40, 50 hours. Now you can go and take on like just estimates or focus on a little more hiring and bring on another person, right? There's your time back ASAP. As long as they're like, you still got to train them a bit, but you get most of your time back right there.
Totally. And when we're talking about like moving the needle in the business and actually like generating revenue, what you really should be focused on, especially at the beginning in a contracting business of any sort, your business skill sets compared to your technical skill sets should be way better. Because if your sales skill sets and your marketing skill sets are better than your fulfillment skill sets, that's okay. Because guess what? There's so many people that have fulfillment skill sets, but there's not a lot of people that have sales and marketing skill sets, right? So like, if we really boil it down, it's like, okay, you go to an estimate. Okay, the estimate's $5,000. Let's say you spend an hour at the estimate. You get a 25% deposit. You close the actual estimate. Now, 25% on 5,000 is 1,250. First of all, you just generated the revenue of 1,250 within an hour. Let's boil that down for a second here. And then second of all, you have now increased the future contract potential of your business by what? 3,750 as well. Now, when you go to actually fulfill the work, you're still going to be making money while you're fulfilling the work. Don't get it twisted. You're still going to be making money, but that $5,000 project is likely going to take, let's go 3 to 4 days, depending on whatever trade you're in. Okay. In which case now your hourly on what you're making is going to go down significantly to $50 an hour, $100 an hour, whatever. But now, just for a second here, guys, imagine if you could just keep on closing those $5,000 estimates and bringing in those 1,250 hours. That's what this whole game is.
Well said, man. There's your hourly. Like, you see how big your hourly is for that specifically? And of course, you might, if you're playing production manager or something, you might still drop by or something every once in a while, but that's just a couple minutes here, maybe like half an hour versus like spending the whole 8-10 hours there doing it yourself, right? Now imagine you have 3 to 5 job sites going like this, right?
We would break down even when like we were knocking on doors for marketing. Because guys, we've said it before, we'll say it again. All marketing works. You just need to figure out how to make it work. Right. So Jimmy and I would knock on countless doors. And one of the metrics that we would think about when we're knocking on doors is how much am I technically getting paid an hour based on how many jobs I'm closing by knocking on doors. And the hourly turns out to be absurd. Hundreds of dollars an hour, 150 plus minimum. But it's like, it's taking that overarching concept and recognizing where your time is best spent, and spent is a careful choice of words right there because you're spending time.
I don't know who needs to hear it, but you're still on the tools.
Get off.
Just get off the tools, man. Check your hourly. Do a little time audit. Just for fun, right? Like just see what you're making versus like actually like what you could be making, doing other like high value tasks in the business, right? And man, just to go back, like circle back a little bit. I know you mentioned, some people, it's like whether they like don't know how, or they like being on like the tools and doing it themselves, but they still typically will complain. It's like, oh, nobody wants to work, or I can't get enough work and all this. And it's like, okay, well, that's why when we have calls with these contractors, we ask them, right? Hey, you're not getting any work. And they're like, oh, it's the economy. Oh, it's whoever's in office. And oh, it's my area. And it's like, okay, so let's do a little audit, right? We don't want to just judge off that. Cool. What are you currently doing for marketing? You already know. What do you think they say? Most people.
Word of mouth and referrals.
Yeah.
For Angie's List or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. And it's like, okay, cool. Anything else? They're like, no. And it's like, okay, like, do you do any door to door? No. Do you do Facebook posting, Facebook ads? No. Google ads? No. SEO? No. It's like, okay, like, do you at least go to like, subcontractors? I wouldn't advise this one, but like, do you even check in with them? No. It's like, okay, well, we can't blame the economy. We can't blame who's in office or the times when there's like 15 different ways you can market your business and you've done maybe 2 of them. Right? You can't complain if you haven't done, or even like for help or looked for help around these things. And you've only done word of mouth for like 10 years or something. It's like, okay, well, it was working. Sure. Okay. If it's working and you only care about that, then sure, keep going. But it's like, if it's not working and you're not asking yourself like, okay, how can I get more marketing in my business to actually bring more work? Then you've already lost, right? You think everything's okay. You're just guessing. Even with like hiring, it's like, okay, well, you do post on or LinkedIn, Indeed, or Monster, any of those? No? Got it. Or maybe you do. And it's like, okay, cool. How long did you try it for? And they're like, oh, maybe like a week. A week? It's an ongoing process. And then it's like, okay, what's your process? They're like, oh, someone comes in, I just bring them to the job site. And so many of them just ghost or they don't. Wait, what about asking them questions? What about qualifying them? What about making sure they're going to be a good fit attitude-wise? All these things so you can not waste your time before you bring them out to a job site, right? Like, it's like, okay, if you don't know those things, are you reaching out to people that do know it, right? Are you trying to get help around this? Oh, no? And then it's like, I just don't think you're allowed to complain until, actually just at all, right? There's always a solution out there. It's up to you whether or not you want to go find it.
And even like recently, I've been hearing a lot of I think the economy is just slowing down. And I always tell people, I'm like, do you know the stock market's at all-time highs right now? And it's like, I always hit them as well with, okay, like, do you think there's other people doing well right now? Yeah, I guess there is some other people doing right now. Okay, what are they doing that you're not? And I guarantee you, it's always going to come back to they're working more on the business than you are. And if you really want to break it down, you could probably put it into tiers, and you could go like level 3 tier is fulfilling the work, even like talking with clients, anything like that. Level 2 is probably like, the actual estimates, going to the estimates, even like door to door. That'd be like a level 2, maybe like a client complaints, and even like training new people within your business. That'd be like second tier. And then that first tier where you ideally want to stay the whole time is like, okay, what's the plan for delegation today? And realistically, at that top tier, a lot about system building for sure, because you're trying to decide like how things are going to go on a continual basis. But it's also just about people management. And if your whole game that you're playing is only about people management, you're probably gonna have no choice but to succeed. And if you're not succeeding when your only challenge is people management, then it's just the wrong system. And then you only have 2 definitive factors that you need to play with in the business. Is the system good? And is my people management good? And then that's it.
Well said, man. Honestly, I am so grateful that we were taught and mentored to run a business as business owners versus like, just because the story I always hear is they started with a painting company or like a remodeling company, and they started doing the work. They got really good at the skill, right? You pick up and it's like, okay, I can use it now. I can paint and I can do it well myself. Just pull that out of my inventory. But then it's like, okay, cool. I can go do this myself. It's like, oh, cool. They go do it themselves. But then it's like they don't have the business side. They don't even try to learn it. And then they get so busy that they don't have time to. Well, they don't want to make time for it because they just want to keep finishing up projects. And they get so stuck, right? So I'm really grateful that we were taught that, right? There are plenty of people out there that are running successful businesses and trying to build systems and actually run a business like that. And truly you actually want to figure out how to scale properly. Just reach out to us, to somebody that's actually doing like what you want. And even worse, what I hear the most is, all my friends are going through this. All my friends don't have work. All my friends have hiring issues in the contracting space. I'm like, okay, but you're speaking to people that are either doing just the same as you or worse than you. What? That makes no sense. Go look for someone that's doing way better than you and see if you can figure out like some type of deal that they can help you, right? Why would you continue hanging around the people that are also struggling and not looking for help the same, right? What's that saying? It's like, if you show me the 5 closest friends of yours.
I was just going to say.
Yeah, I could just tell exactly how you're going to be as well.
Like you are the sum of the top 5 people that you surround yourself with.
Yeah, like surround yourself with great people and people that want to keep growing, and just reach out for help. Seriously.
Yeah. I mean, reach out for help or just start moving forward and more towards the direction that you actually want, and figure out what you actually want. And again, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be a painter or wanting to be an electrician or wanting to be a plumber. But if that's not actually what you want, stop lying to yourself. And then once you're done, stop lying to yourself. Let's have a conversation about how you can actually move forward in your life and build something for yourself, rather than just look yourself in the mirror every day, put a smile on your face, and pretend that you want to slap some paint on the walls or put some pipes together.
Well said.
I think that's all the time we have for today. What a banging episode, Jimmy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hell yeah. If you guys want to see what it might look like to work with us, we'll have some links down below. Shout out to the fire alarm. Couldn't have done it without you. And as always, we appreciate you guys. If you guys have any comments, questions for us, leave it in the comments down below. More than happy to see what you guys have to say. Other than that, nice to see you guys. Nice to hear from you guys. We'll see you guys soon.
Let's go. Cheers.